trouble before. Let's see if I can do that again.
You hear me now?
Yes, I do.
All right.
So let's share. And now, can you talk?
What about now?
Yes. All right, good. I don't know what it was, but we fixed it.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So we're good. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our family information event. Thank you for joining us. We had a little mishap there with the audio, but everything should be working well now. Thank you for being with us. Welcome. My name is Luis Aviles. I am the supervisor of World Languages and English as a new language for the Bethlehem Central School District. I want to start by saying you are our reason. Thank you for being part of our district. Your presence enriches our community. Our mission statement guides our work, empowering students and families to become active participants in their future. And as such, we want to give you not only this information that is valuable for you as a family, but an opportunity to hear from you. So you will be able to listen to this presentation in selected languages. We have Turkish and Portuguese available. I also speak Spanish, so I will have a recording later of it on our website. And if you speak Spanish, you may ask me questions in that language. I will be very happy to receive them. You may type your questions into the chat in your home language, and we will make the best effort possible to get to you with those questions. And
can you hear me?
Let's move ahead.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
The English as a New Language Department operates under the guidance of Commissioner's Regulation Part 154. This Commissioner's Regulation is part of the New York State Department governance over our schools. The regulations govern over the programs and services offered to English as a new language students in all public school districts in New York State. You may use the links below for more information. I'm going to play the parent orientation video.
I think because Jess is
something that we do.
No.
On the email invitation, you received a link to this presentation, but I am also going to put it on the chat so that you are able, I hope that worked on the chat, and that way you are able to follow us. This presentation will also be available on our website, and it is full of very valuable links that you may use to find out and be informed about the education of your ENL student. Let's watch this parent orientation video. It is one of the most important pieces of information that we have available in New York State. I am going to play only a part of it. It's quite long, but it will give us an idea.
The New York State Education Department Office of Bilingual Education and World Languages and the New York State Board of Regents present English Language Learners Programs in New York State. Welcome to New York State Public Schools. We have over 2.6 million students and over 214,000 English language learners that are known as ELLs and or multilingual learners. In our school system, the linguistic diversity of our families makes up over 200 languages. In order to meet the needs of our diverse community, New York State has an Office of Bilingual Education and World Languages. The mission of the office is to ensure that English language learners attain the highest level of academic success and language proficiency, and are able to meet the standards set forth by the state. We strive to make certain that all students' individual educational paths and socio-emotional needs are met in multiple languages, leading them to college and career readiness. We believe that all students should receive an education that prepares them to graduate from high school and go on to college and or pursue a career. We know that informed parents are the best advocates for their children. The Office of Bilingual Education and World Languages is committed to support you as you research what our schools
somehow we
can
have to
offer
select
your
the right
child.
audio speaker.
Your child has taken an English language assessment
Was this what we were
and has
just
been
listening to
identified
before?
as
Yeah.
an English language
Okay, so clear
learner.
this.
A student
Now we're-
whose primary or home language is other than English and is entitled to additional support in school to learn the English language he or she needs to be successful. In New York State, schools are required to hold orientations for families of newly enrolled English language learners to inform you of the different programs available in your child's school and/or district. At this orientation, you will receive program information and materials in your primary or home language. You will also be given the opportunity to ask and receive answers to your questions. This orientation session will give you a better understanding of the programs that your child is entitled to.
So that orientation session is what we're having today. You want to come back here once you have the presentation. This link will take you to that video. You should watch this video. The video is available in many other languages, as you can see here. So from that link, you will be able to access it in your language. If you do not find your language, notice that it is over here also in more languages. If you do not find your language, if there is a language that is not available here, you may contact me. I will share my contact information in one of the slides, and we will make that the video available in the language that you need. This video is very important. It helps you know if your child at home is receiving the education that they are entitled to. The next link is also very important. New York State has a Bill of Rights for the parents or families of English as a new language students. When you click on this link that has the Bill of Rights, that link will take, and then you will see that the Bill of Rights is available in multiple languages as well. You may follow the link to the language that you prefer. If the language that you prefer is not available, you may reach out to me the same way. Notice that we have it available here in 27 languages, but one of them might not be the one you prefer. So if it is not here, please reach out to me and I will also give you access to the Bill of Rights in the language that you prefer. Notice that the parent Bill of Rights is made up of 17 basic standard lines that talk about all the rights and all the requirements that schools are mandated to protect for the education of English as a new language students.
3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter
The
audio
next
cable that I
link,
have
the next link is a parent guide. The parent guide is the
Scroll.
next step to help parents in New York State understand how we in the schools operate the programs and services for English language learners. And it enhances the understanding of how you can support this at home. It is it is not an easy guide to follow necessarily, but it is very comprehensive and very useful. So what we can do is, if you ever have any questions about all this information, same thing, you reach out to our department, and I will gladly meet with you and go through each one of the points a little bit more. You will also have opportunities to ask questions today, but I'm sure that there might be something that we missed and that you want to know further on. Just be sure that you can reach out to us at any time, and we will certainly give you access to the information. And then the last link that I have here is a link that is not necessarily for ENL families. This link is valuable for all families. New York State is moving to next generation standards, and that is going to impact the way that students learn, the content and the material that they manage, and the courses that we configure in the schools. This parents guide is quite comprehensive and makes the information a little bit easier to understand. So all of it is available on the links. It is also available in other languages, not in this link, but I can get you access to that. Once again, any of the materials that you see linked here can be available in any other language. Also remember that you can type your questions in your home language, and I will be receiving them here. So that should work out. The next slide talks about the assessments
I was going to go
that
try the Zoom.
students take in New York State.
That's the important.
New York State measures the understanding of the students using standardized testing. This is a list of the tests that ENL students will be taking during the course of the school
Can you hear
year.
me?
Yeah.
Some
I guess you
tests are for all students.
Okay.
Others
testing. So
are
it was just
for
a left-right
specific
thing, I
grades.
guess.
Once again, each one of the links here takes you to a
What's that?
page on the New York
backwards
State
100.
Education Department website
100,
that explains
99,
further
98,
what each
97,
one of those
96,
tests are.
95.
Now, these are the
94,
most,
93,
these first
92,
two are the most important
91.
tests for ENL students. These are the ones
Now
that
I
are
want to test
exclusive.
the audio from my
the first
perspective,
one,
Andrew. So
NICETEL,
sit down at
is
one
the
of those
New York
mics
State
and have
incoming test for
Nick
English language
raise the
learners.
levels so I can hear if I can hear you.
This test is
All right, Nick,
the
this is
first
microphone
assessment
number
or
one.
test
Microphone
that a
number
student
one,
would
number
take
one. Can you
to
hear me right?
determine what
Pretty
their
muddy,
level of
but,
language proficiency
Good to
is
see you again.
in
Now, can you hear
English.
this?
When you
What's that?
register
Can you hear
for
this microphone?
in a school in a
Not
public school
great.
district in New York
Hear it,
State,
okay.
you fill out a home language
How's that?
questionnaire,
You
and that
better?
home language questionnaire
Not really.
shows if there is a language other than English spoken at home. If there
no,
is,
it's
then
so
we
muddy. I don't
conduct
know
an initial
where's it
interview.
going through.
And then students who
Well, it's
are
first going right
identified
into
as
the
having
camera.
limited
Right,
proficiency in English take that NICETEL test.
So that's why.
That NICETEL test establishes the level.
You have the Zoom meeting.
When your
microphone
student is
muted.
enrolled the first
Oh.
time, you should
Sure.
receive a letter from the
Zoom
ENL
meeting
department
Is
if your child took the NICETEL test,
Otherwise, our
and it
test right
should
now would be showing up in Louise's presentation.
show
And we
whether
have
the
to wait
student is
till
entitled
after that's
for
over to really
services
test this?
with the corresponding level,
Yeah.
or the student is not entitled because they scored
Okay, but
command.
I sound good?
We sound good.
Once the students are identified, then they take every year
Yeah.
another
I feel like this is going
assessment
through some
that is
microphone.
only for
that's
ENL students.
not-
That one is called the
What
NICESLAB.
mic would this be
That is
going
the
through
New
right
York
now?
State
The board?
English as a second language acquisition test. That
Yeah.
test is normed for
Camera's
ENL
board,
students. It measures
Maybe-
4 areas
The
of
board,
language:
And the board is feeding the
speaking,
PA.
listening, reading, and writing.
The board is also feeding.
And it
camera,
determines
feeding,
the progress
like magic.
that an ENL student
Change this to-
has made during a school
There goes the
year.
neural one.
The one
There are
that's not-
5 levels: entering, emerging, transitioning, expanding, and commanding.
that one.
The first 2, entering and emerging. If a student is at those levels, the student is scheduled for 360 minutes of service a week. The next 2, transitioning and expanding, is 180 minutes of service per week. And then commanding is once the student is deemed to be independent in their proficiency of language. And then the services are only 90 minutes a week, and they are deemed
Can you hear
to
me,
just
Andrew?
support the students as they transition
Give me a
into
thumbs up if you can. Yeah, okay.
the rest of
So
the
you're
population.
talking, I assume. I can't hear you. So that's,
One thing that is very
so we're
important
muted, which
this school
is a
year,
bummer. I
is
thought that
that
microphone.
we did
would
not
perform
have
better.
a NICESLAT. The NICESLAT is traditionally conducted in May. In May,
Better view, but
the
I can't see
schools
Andrew
were
anymore. I can't see
not
Andrew and
open
the person to
for
his
physical
I could see it.
instruction.
Yeah.
And the NICESLAT and the NICETEL, actually, both of those tests can only be conducted
Yeah. So
in person. They are designed to be conducted with the teacher next to the student because they are quite intensive in the speaking and listening sections. Because of this, we did not have the New York State canceled the NICESLAT in May. That represents or means that the students were not measured for their new level of understanding of English. New York State is working with districts to see what solutions can. Of today, the NICESLAT is the only assessment that is normed for ENL students in New York State. So we have to wait until the state makes a change in order to adjust the levels of the students. This does not mean that your child did not make any progress. It only means that we, as of today, do not have any other tool to measure that progress coming from the state. Now, the teachers measure it every day in their classrooms, and the teachers know and understand what progress has been made. That has been one of the most asked questions since we started the school year. The next assessment is the Ela Test. This Ela Test, or English Language Arts Test, is a test that is taken by all students in 3rd to 8th grade. Now notice there is an asterisk next to ELA. If we look on the bottom, it says grades 3 to 8. It should say also that ELA, I just noticed there's something missing here. So the ELA test for 3 to 8 students, 3rd grade to 8th grade, when a student comes in the first year, if the student has been here less than 1 year when the test is given, then the student is exempt. We don't ask English learners to take the ELA test the first year that they came into the United States. After that first year, then yes, all students have to take the English Language Arts test. This is a common question asked frequently by many families who wonder why, if last year my student didn't, or my child didn't take this test, why do they have to take it this year? That is the reason. That test measures the academic comprehension of the English language. It does not measure speaking or listening skills. This test only measures reading and writing skills. And there's a reason for that. Monolingual students are considered to be proficient in speaking and listening at their level because of the fact that it is the language that is dominant for them. The next test is the mathematics test. 3 to 8, all students take it. And the math test, you notice the asterisk, is available in other languages, limited languages, not in too many, but it's available in other languages. Now, when the student when the home language is not Chinese, Haitian, Creole, Korean, Russian, or Spanish, then the student can receive interpretation services. This is very helpful for some students because if they are recently arrived to the country, they might have learned mathematical concepts in their home language. And while they make the transition to understanding the English language, we don't want them to forget math. We want them to develop math. So we make every effort to have this test available in as many languages as we can. There is another test, 4th grade science. That test is taken by all students in 4th grade, ENL or not ENL. All students take it. The test is available in Chinese, Haitian, Creole, and Spanish. And there are accommodations as well for students that speak any other language. And then finally, the ninth grade to 12th grade students take Radiance tests. These tests have different sequences. It depends on the interests of the students, but there are some that are mandated. All students have to pass ELA, a series of math tests, and then the science, social studies, they have to take history, Regents, and such. And then there are options for the advanced Regents designation. If a student wants to follow a sequence in world languages, they can take 3 credits in world languages and they gain access to an advanced Regents diploma. They can also do it on a sequence, following a sequence of art or science. It's a different combination. But for ENL students, especially, it's usually best that they do world languages because they are already familiar with learning a second language and it becomes quite easier for them. This doesn't mean that we discourage interests in any of the other areas, but traditionally that's the path that most of them follow. There are some local assessments that Bethlehem Central School District conducts. Right now, we are focused on the iReady assessments. All students in grades K to 8 participate in these diagnostic tests. Now, these tests do not measure, just like the 3 to 8 ELA exam, they don't measure language proficiency the same way that the NICESLAT measures it. They measure academic comprehension. They are not normed for ENL students. They are not available in any other language. They are only available in English. And there are reasons for this. The reasons are very specific to the ELA and the mathematics department. They have measures to control with these diagnostics. And then the teachers in the classrooms understand that when ENL students take these diagnostics with limited proficiency in the English language, then their scores will not reflect what they understand, but rather the limitation in the proficiency in language. So especially for mathematics, it's important to understand that. The rest of the assessments that we do in Bethlehem are teacher-based. They come from the lessons that the teachers conduct, and the ENL teachers are able to modify and provide accommodations when the students are in the classroom taking those local assessments. From the video, you will learn that there are different programs available in New York State to provide language development support for English language learners. The first program is a standalone program. That means that the students go to a smaller setting that is not their regular classroom. And then they are with other ENL students developing language proficiency. In those settings, they are able to develop social and academic language. And the social language is very important. From research, we have learned that students need to feel good in the classroom if we want them to gain proficiency in the language. That level of comfortability most of the time comes from the social interactions that happen in the classroom. They are able to establish relationships with their peers, other students, and other teachers, and therefore they can bridge the communication. The other service includes co-teaching, and that is the one that we're using most these days. Because of the current circumstances, our students especially in the elementary schools, it's different in secondary, but in K to 5, in kinder to 5th grade, the students are in one classroom. So the teachers do mostly co-teaching, which is great. The students receive language development support inside their classroom. The teachers are able to modify the instruction, and the students are able to make progress. New York State also has bilingual education and dual language programs. This bilingual education and dual language programs are mandated for districts that have many students in one grade level that speak the same language. And that is not the case for Bethlehem. We have our students have an immense diversity of languages. So we do not have the numbers in any of the grade levels to establish a bilingual education or dual language program. Bethlehem Central School District has a website, bethlehemschools.org. This website is available in multiple languages. If you visit the school website, you will notice from the image there on the presentation that right under the search button,
You can see it
there
bounce
will
when
be
it
a button that says
it's in.
select language.
So that's good.
Once you click that button,
Pick the volume from here?
you will be able to see the
Unfortunately,
contents of the
The
website
whole room.
in your home
It's picking it
language.
up from that
Now,
mic.
important to understand is that
Picking it up from here?
while the website can be translated
It's
to
gonna pick it up
multiple
from there,
languages,
from the speakers
any
to there.
images included on the
The way
website
that
will
the
not be
audio is gonna get
translated.
into the,
They don't operate the same way.
The Zoom meeting is
Anything that has been
through
typed
computer.
into the website will
I think so.
definitely be translated. Anything that is an image will not be translated. You would have to use a different service for that.
Everything here is going through the. correct microphone and
Worth
the webcam?
noting,
No, it's
I
going
don't know if you
through
can see
all of
here when I
these.
right
Yeah.
click,
So all of these
but if you can see it,
through here.
and if not, you can try this on your own browser. If you use the Chrome browser from Google, when you right click on any website, it doesn't matter what website you're in, you will get a menu, and one of the options says right there, translate. And right now, this one says translate to English. That's fine. If you click translate to English there,
Okay.
what happens
All right,
is
so once you're
that
done.
you show a box. I hope you can see this. If not, I will record a video and put it on the website because it's very useful. And then when you click there, you can choose a different language. And then there are plenty of languages available there. And when you click it, the content will be translated. This is true for any computer that has access to the Chrome browser. This is also true for any tablet, iPad, or Android. This is also true for iPhone or Android phones. As long as you use Chrome, you will be able to translate the content. And that is helpful not only for Bethlehem's website, that is helpful for any website that you might be using because it bridges the content. Now, very important, using Google Translate. Right now, we're using Lexikit, our wonderful company that we really prefer. And their translations and interpretations are very accurate. When we use Google Translate, we use it to bridge the access to the content. But it's important to understand that Google Translate is an artificial intelligence tool. And as such, it has limited capabilities. When I translate a website to Spanish, most of the time I'm able to understand it, but there's always something that it's written in a different dialect, or they're using a different word, or it just simply sometimes doesn't make much sense, at least the way that I learned to speak Spanish. So just understand that while it might not be perfect, it does give you immediate access to some content. If you have something that is very important and you really want to make sure that you understand it,
There's a meeting a week
you're better
later,
off
right?
reaching out to us at any time with your request,
For some reason.
and we will assist you in gaining access to a translation or interpretation that really renders a good service for you. Once again, don't forget, right under the search bar, all the languages for the website are available. The English as a New Language department has a newsletter that you should be receiving. If you are not receiving it, again, reach out. I will keep purging our lists to make sure that we include everyone identified as a contact for English as a New Language students, but I might miss one or two. If you're not receiving the newsletter and you have access to this presentation, you can gain access to it by following us on social media. I don't see the link for Twitter, but the link for Facebook is here. When you click, it'll take you to our Facebook page, and then there you will be able to see the other editions that have been sent. Like right here's the one for fall, and then before that there is another one from June, and if you keep going down you will find the other ones. This newsletter is meant to be an informative tool for parents, so it will be taking shape as the school year progresses based on your feedback. Your feedback you will have opportunities to provide feedback and participate in the development of our department. Right now I'm interested in two opportunities. The first one is an ENL Families Focus Group. This focus group is an opportunity to share ideas about the services that we offer, and it's also an opportunity for families to have access to how we shape the future of our ENL program. We're in the middle of big transformations in education, and I think this is the right time for this. This families focus group will start meeting soon. I will send subsequent emails inviting you to take part in any of the sessions that we are planning. If you need to learn more information, absolutely reach out the same way that you would for anything else. The next idea is an Eml Multimedia Outreach. We have multiple social media platforms. We have a newsletter. We have a website, and we are developing learning materials for the students to use at home with their families. And I would like you to be a part of all of this exciting development. So we can use these opportunities to highlight learning moments at home or in the school, opportunities that may benefit our ENL families. If your family has any information that you think would benefit any others, we can publish it through there. And we can also sponsor services in the community that can help our ENL families. These opportunities should be an exciting opportunity to share how you feel about the program and have real input into how we shape it for the future. My contact information is right there. You can see my email, laviles@bethlehemschools.org. My phone number is there, 518-439-4921. Extension is 2254. Sorry. And I will immediately contact you back if you do so. We are planning a future meeting for December 16, tentatively at 4:30, in case that there is any other family. This time might change, depending on how things look from now until December. things change from today till tomorrow, it seems.
when we talk to you,
And right now we are expecting to host this virtually, just like we did this one.
I didn't know that.
I think that is it. I want to see if you have any questions. Um,
I use my same window on because I know that captures everything. I'd rather capture
Right.
everything than not.
Perfect. All right. So do you have any questions? I'm not sure that I can see them on the chat, but I should be able to, I think. If you have any questions, you may post them in the chat. So I don't see any questions. Oh, will the presentation be available online? Yes, it will, definitely. I will send an email to the same contact that I had, and we will point you to the right direction where this will be posted. It will also be posted on the Bethlehem Schools website, but just in case you didn't find it, I will reaffirm it with an email. I see here, what does commanding look like in middle school? Well, the middle school, once the students are in secondary levels, it works a little different these days, at least than K to 5. The students in our district are on a hybrid schedule, and they are able to visit. The ENL students have been invited to come in every day. So if you have a student who is commanding, the minutes of service are 90 per week. That translates basically into 18 minutes per day if we were going to divide them into the 5 days of the week. But usually what teachers do is that they go into the classroom where the commanding student is, and they support the needs of the student so that they can develop language proficiency. There is no standalone for commanding. It means that they are always visited in their classroom, because at that point, once they have scored commanding, we understand or expect them to be proficient enough to be able to navigate the class. This sometimes changes because we have students who did score commanding, but we know that they still need some more support. Now, very important, scoring commanding is the only way that students exit the English as a new language program. There is no opting out from the families. There is no other way to exit, and this is important to understand. The English as a new language services are governed by Title IX and by any other regulation, amendments to the Constitution that guarantee a free and appropriate public education for all students. That means that learning English in the United States is basically a civil rights issue. If you don't learn English in a society that is pretty much ruled by that language, then your opportunities for success are very diminished. That doesn't mean that you cannot succeed, but the opportunities are certainly diminished. Therefore, it is very important that schools support the needs of English language learners according to the units of studies. We have a mandate from the state. If we do not meet the needs of the students, we are red flag. We're singled out, and we have to correct it. So it is very important that we do it that way. Once the students score commanding, we do that support for 2 more years. So if a student, let's say that a student took the test, the NICESLAT, this coming May 2021, then 2000, the next school year, 21-22, would be their first year as a commanding student. And then the school year 22-23 would be the second year as a commanding student. So that student would become a forever ELL student, which is what we call them once they exit the ENL program. They would be out of that program for the 2023-2024 school year. That's important for families to be aware of. Once your child scores commanding, you will receive 2 more years of service. And the purpose of this is to support the needs of the students and to also, support the testing accommodations. ENL students receive extended time for tests that are timed. Not all tests are timed, some are untimed, but for the ones that have a time limit, ENL students are able to receive accommodations. Good question. Do we have another question? All right, I don't see another question. The presentation will be available as soon as the communications office can put it up on our website. I submitted today, and hopefully by the end of the week it'll be there, if not by tomorrow, which is usually what happens. We're under a pandemic, so it might take one more day. But it will certainly be available. I want to show you again my email and my phone number. Please make sure that you have that available. Reach out to me to say hello. Reach out to me to ask me about the program or to share any questions or concerns that you have about the education of your child, or for any other reason. I like to talk and I enjoy having conversations. Okay, now I see. Oh. So if you scored commanding in 2018, yeah, that was the last time that we had an NICESLAT. We didn't have it on 2019. So if you scored commanding in 2018, then last year, the 2019, 2020 was the first year's commanding, and then 2020, 2021, which is this one, is the second year of commanding. So for next year, that student who scored commanding in 2018 would be deemed independent. By the way, there is another combination possible for exiting: commanding on the NICESLAT, but also expanding on the NICESLAT and a level 3 or 4 on the 3 to 8 ELA, or expanding on the NICESLAT and a 65 or higher on the ELA regions will also exit a student. These are very rare cases, but it can certainly happen. We have a few students who, through those combinations, are able to gain proficiency in the language. So there are certainly a few combinations that can work out. The most important thing is we need to be sure that these students are ready. We don't want to stop supporting them because we think they are. We want to be sure that they are ready to incorporate themselves into a different experience. All right, I don't see any other questions. If there are no other questions, then thank you again for being here. I will, if you did not see the link to the presentation on the email that I sent you to invite you to the event, try looking again. If you don't have it at any time, email me I will certainly share it again when I send you a follow-up email for this. It has been a pleasure to share time here with you, and I hope that we can have some time. Oh, I see another question. Good. What about recognition, celebration of our children's different languages and cultures? Yes, we have that traditionally every year. Last year we couldn't have it because we have it at the end of the year. We hold a multicultural event. This takes different shapes, but usually it is an event where we share highlights from the school year, and we like to. I don't know how this is going to work in the future, right? But we used to eat international foods. People were usually very kind, and they would bring a plate that represented their culture and things like that. I think that we have to rethink how we do that because of the current circumstances, but I can't wait to share my arroz con gandule and tembleque and things like that. They are, it is an amazing experience. I hope that we can go back to having it sometime soon. Very good. We still have time for questions. If you have another question, you can add it. If you speak, if you speak a language other than English, and you find yourself interested and qualified to do interpretations, reach out to us. We have many people who live in the district and help us out with interpretations. There's always a need. If not in our district, in a neighboring district. If you speak a language other than English, it's very likely that there's another family that also shares that language and might need support for something. We have some other services coming up. I didn't focus on them because we don't have them ready yet. But once we have them ready, I will make them available. We're looking for opportunities for parents to request interpretations when they need them and gain access that way to empowerment. So that should be coming quickly. All right. Again, my email, laviles@bethlehemschools.org. My phone number, 518-439-4921, extension 22054. I want to thank you. Again, I don't see any other questions, so I think we can end our transmission at this time. Please, if you have any other question, do it now. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great time, everybody. Thank you for being here with us.